Welcome to Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged, a podcast for all women with a creative business who want to learn more about how to make money doing something they love. I'm Joanne Pearce, a female entrepreneur myself, 15 years experience running my own handmade stationery business, Vintage Twee. I'm an established seller on two of the biggest handmade marketplaces, so I've got a whole load of advice to share about how to start and run your own successful creative business. I'm also a wife and a mother, so I get the struggles of trying to do it all while you're raising a family. It's hard. Alongside running Vintage Twee, I'm also a mentor for other women like me who desperately want to work for themselves but just need that bit of support to get going and get their business dream off the ground. I'm a friendly northerner, I'm open and honest with a huge heart and a real fighting spirit, and I'm living proof that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to, even in the face of adversity. This podcast celebrates the selflessness, strength, and resilience of women in business. So if you're ready to ditch the 9 to 5 and learn how to start your own successful creative business, you're in the right place. Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today on the Her Handmade Hustle Unplugged podcast. It's lovely to have you. The sun is shining here in Derbyshire today. The neighbours are out putting down their artificial grass, ready for the summer. So if you hear any banging in the background, I apologise. You can never predict what they're going to do. As soon as I start to record a podcast, the strimmers come out, all the kind of garden tools to make a noise. Everyone starts doing DIY. Anyway, we'll get going. Let's see. Hopefully we won't have any interruptions. I'm posing a question to you today, and it's one that you need to know the answer to if you work for yourself. And it's actually one that we often panic when someone asks us, right? Whether it's another mum in the playground or a potential customer who's like perusing your stall at a market or a craft fair, or even when it just comes to filling out a form that requires you to fill in this particular box, right? And the question is, what do you do for a living? Now, it's one that a lot of self-employed people really struggle answering, me included, because, if we were really honest and said exactly what it is that we do on a daily basis, then A, it wouldn't fit on a form or in a box. B, people would probably just stop listening to us after about 10 minutes because the list is so bloody long. And C, if we actually saw ourselves it all laid out there in black and white, we'd probably just quit our businesses, and go and do something much easier and less stressful. True? You know it is. But it's a question that seems too complex for a self-employed person to answer because we really can't fit what we do into a box sometimes. There's just too much. That, and sometimes we don't even know what we do we? Like, have you ever been in a conversation with someone who captures you off guard? Happened to me the other day. Maybe you're standing in the queue, you're waiting to pick the kids up or the grandkids up from school, or maybe you're at an event and you're showcasing your products and you're stood in front of the very thing that you do. That's the irony. But then someone just comes up to you and they suddenly say, "Oh, what is it that you do for a living?" And then you just panic. You're thinking, shit, I don't know how to phrase that. Actually, I make animals out of pom-poms for a job. Like, what can I call it? How do I describe it so I don't sound like an 8-year-old girl trying to make money from the contents of a mum's craft box? Textile zoologist. It's a good one. But, all of a sudden, you just clam up, don't you? You start stuttering, and then you blurt something random out of either doesn't make sense or sounds like you're lying. And I still do it now. So someone asked me the other day what my job was. You know what I said? I panicked and I was like, oh God. Well, so I work with women, who want to sell things that they make, but they aren't sure how to do it. So I help them like by doing video chats and stuff. Like, seriously? I don't think even I would trust me. What kind of an answer was that? Luckily, I don't think she was listening, which was all good. But I have to up my game, right? I can't be going around saying shit like that. I mean, according to my 5-year-old, I don't have a real job because I work from home. What an arsehole. Like, if only she knew what mummy did and the blood, sweat and tears that I have shed to build my business just so I can pick her up from school every day. Like, seriously, that one got me right in the heart. That one did. I'll show her, don't worry. But yes, it is not uncommon to struggle telling people, especially on the spot, what you do for a living when you work for yourself. unless you're a window cleaner, because that's pretty straightforward. But it's absolutely crucial that we fix this problem. And the reason is, it's not just for our own confidence, so we don't look like total dicks when someone puts us on the spot and says, right, so what do you do for work? But it's also for the confidence of the people who want to buy our products or service. If we aren't clear on what it is that we do, how can we communicate that to our audience? How can we expect them to know as well? So today we're going to be figuring this out together, right? And after you finish this episode, you're going to know exactly what it is that you do for a living and how to say it to anyone who catches you off guard and throws that godforsaken question your way. And better than that, you're going to be able to throw it at them in under 60 seconds. Boom, done. Because once you feel confident saying what it is that you do out loud without stuttering or stammering or feeling like an imposter, because that's one, isn't it? You get afraid of saying what it is you do because people might look at you and go, God, who do you think you are to be able to do that? You'll notice a shift in the direction of your business once you are confident delivering what it is that you do. People will start to take you seriously. Like they will sit up and they will listen to what you have got to say or what you've got to show, whatever it is that you do. They're going to start seeing you as an expert in your field, even if you've only just learned how to crochet in the last 3 months, right? I've always wanted to learn how to crochet, always. So anybody that can do it, even if you only learned 3 months ago, to me, they're an expert. And the same goes for whatever else that you do. So say you make soaps. Yeah, I don't know how to make soaps. So to me, you're an expert. Say you make candles. I don't know how to make candles. So you're an expert. Say you make the most amazing sourdough bread in the world, or maybe in the area that you live. Yeah. You might not think you're an expert because there are other bakers out there, big companies and other artisan bakers that are making loads of money from selling their sourdough bread. But the next door neighbour to you, who goes out to buy a loaf, doesn't know how to make it. So to her, you are an expert. It's all about the way that you deliver something to someone as to whether or not they're going to decide if they want to invest in you, or at least just see what it is that you've got to offer. So we're not going to be talking any fluff for the next 30 minutes or so. Yeah, we're not going to be faffing around with words, trying to decide if you like crocheter better than crochet artist. No, we're going to be unpacking an actual formula that is going to help you, not only just to figure out how to define what you do, but also how to sell it, because that's the key, isn't it? It's okay knowing what you do, but how you get that across to other people. And that's what this episode is all about today. And my formula consists of 5 things that you need to be clear on before you tell anyone else what it is that you do. Because if you don't know the answer to these 5 things, you're not going to be able to communicate that effectively. So in the meantime, if anybody asks what you do for a living, just either ignore them or pretend you've got a dash off to the dentist or something and just get the hell out of there, right? So let's get going. So if I was to ask you, right here, right now, what do you do for a living? Could you tell me in 60 seconds or less? As we've already established, I can't, right? And I put this to the test the other day with a colleague of mine who I'm working on with a new set of speed networking events. I think I mentioned it in my last episode. But what we're basically doing is we're having a set of events, which is like speed dating if you've ever been, but it's for businesses. So we're going to be inviting business owners along, and then we're rotating them through tables so they each get 60 seconds to tell each other what they do, so they can establish whether or not they'd be a good business match for a potential collaboration. Okay, following me? Makes sense? Good. Anyway, Emma, my colleague, and I, whilst we were planning the theory behind this whole event, we decided to see if we could actually do this ourselves. Yeah, before we put anyone else in that position. And it's harder than it looks, right? So we went out for a coffee together, any excuse. We sat across the table from each other. I got my phone out, put the stopwatch on, set it to 60 seconds, and I went first, right? Totally failed. I think I bumbled my way to like 35 seconds, and then I panicked and I was like, it's too hard, stop the clock, I don't know what to do, stop it. It's quite funny. And then Emma's like, right, I'll have a go. I'll go next, okay? Now, granted, she was better than me, right? I think she made it to 55 seconds. But it was hard, and even she struggled, and she's good at talking. I then made the mistake of trying it with Dave, my husband. Don't ask me why. I don't know. There's probably nobody less suited to this task than him. But anyway, he was there, he was ready, he was willing, so I thought, right, let's do it. Now, before we even began, he said to me, I don't know why you're asking me to do this. I don't know what you do. Like, seriously. I told him the point of it was for him to tell me what it is that he does. Yeah, because that's what he will be doing in this setting. You'll be telling somebody else what you do for a job, not what I bloody do for a job. I mean, the truth be told, I still don't know what he does for a job, right? And he started this job 2 years ago. Something to do with printers. Anyway, so I pressed play on the stopwatch, and honestly, it was the longest 60 seconds of my life. I think I heard the word printers in there. I heard the word network, I think. I definitely heard infrastructure and cyber security in between him swearing and saying the whole exercise was pointless because he wasn't even coming to the bloody event. Oh, anyway, the point is we all struggled, right? And it got me thinking about how important it is as business owners to be able to deliver our pitch comfortably and confidently to someone who is ready to listen, and possibly more than that, they're ready and willing to buy whatever it is we're offering them. But if we're falling at that final hurdle when it comes to telling them what it is that we do and how we can help them, then they're going to go elsewhere. But before we describe to someone what we actually do for a living, like, do we know what our job title is? Do we even need a job title? Well, if you're self-employed and you've ever tried to fill out the box labelled occupation when you're applying for any kind of insurance, for example, like car insurance, home insurance, holiday insurance, then you'll know that on paper, yes, we have to have some kind of title. But the things that we are never there. Small business founder, that's not there. Small business owner, that's not even there. Whatever you do, just don't put anything remotely creative, like an artist, because honestly, your quote will double, I'm telling you. They just mustn't trust us. I'm trying to think what I put now for my occupation on my car insurance, but I'll have to have a look and let you know. But the list they give you is so limited, isn't it? Chief executive is there. Yeah, we might be the CEO of our own shit, but I never tick that box. Probably because if I think that I do it, they're going to assume I'm earning like 200k a year, and then that will also double my premium, so I don't do it. Well, their titles are very corporate, aren't they? They're very generic, and it can be really hard to find where you fit in. Most days, I'm what I like to call a mombi, which is a zombified mother trying to run a business and keep multiple people alive at the same time, usually on approximately about 3 hours sleep, and I'm fueled solely by caffeine. Yeah. Can't see that one being on a list anywhere, can you? But it's a real thing. The roles that we play on a daily basis when we run our own businesses don't easily fit into a job title. But for the sake of these things that we have to do, like car insurance, we've got to find something that is as close as possible to what we do for a job. So I want you to think about this first. I want you to throw around some job titles just for the sake, let's say, of filling out your insurance form. Or imagine that you are designing a business card and you need to put a title of some kind on there. So mine, on my business card, is currently Creative Business Mentor, I think. See? I don't know. I need to check. Now, once you've got this down and you're happy with it, or you're happy with it for now, it doesn't have to be perfect, then we're going to move on to how you describe your job role in 60 seconds or less to someone who asks you down at the pub what you do for a living, right? You're never going to panic again, trust me. So, there are 5 steps to this, okay? And if you can do each one of them, you'll be able to confidently describe who you are and what you offer to anyone that asks you in 60 seconds or less, all right? Depending on how fast you talk. So, in the corporate world, they call this getting clear on your value proposition. Now, everybody knows that I am not corporate. Everybody knows I don't have a corporate bone in my body. So, in my creative world, this is called getting shit hot at knowing what you've got. Yeah, I just made that up. I think it's going to become a trending term. So, if you can understand and answer each one of these steps, you've done it. You have got your golden pitch, okay? So, let's get going. So, the first one is the problem. What problem or challenge is your customer experiencing? What do they need from you? What are they stuck on or finding challenging? I'll give you an example. So, say you're a creator of beautiful home fragrances. You probably think that your item is a luxury for someone. It could also be a gift, maybe. So actually, they don't have a problem to solve, and you're struggling to sell them. Well, remember, everybody buys something for a reason, to solve a problem of some kind. The person who is looking online at your candles or your wax melts could be someone who's feeling low, underappreciated maybe, like she's lacking a few little luxuries in her life and she wants to treat herself. So what's her problem? Apart from maybe rhyme with a husband or her kids are annoying her and everyone takes it for granted. But, we can't help with that. However, you can address her challenges and her needs. She wants to feel uplifted and she's sick of not treating herself to anything. She wants something lovely for herself to make her feel good when she's home alone, and the aforementioned annoying husband and kids are at work and school. That's her problem, okay? The second thing you have to be able to describe is the impact. That is, what happens if, let's call it Angela, what happens if Angela doesn't solve her problem? What's the impact of this? What if she can't find the means to relax or escape for a short while every day or even once a week to indulge just a little bit more me time? Yeah, well, it's going to escalate, isn't it? She's going to end up feeling worse, more resentful. She might even leave her husband and her kids. Bit extreme, but you never know how bad it really is for poor Angela. So actually, the impact of her not addressing her needs could be pretty unpleasant for Angela. So that brings us to the third thing that you need to know how to describe when it comes to telling people what you do. And this is the important one. This is the solution, right? This is where you swoop in and you rescue Angela. You have the answer to her problem right there, the solution. And that is your beautiful smelling candles. The gorgeous coconut infused wax melts that are going to transport her far, far away from her reality as soon as she lights them, sending her off to a Caribbean island or somewhere. This is the solution to solve her immediate problem. You can't help with the husband and the kids, yeah? But you can provide Angela with something that she's looking for to meet her current needs. And that is feeling underappreciated and like she wants to treat herself. And if you're thinking, well, how many Angelas actually are there out there who are thinking like this and would honestly treat themselves to some of my wax melts? Well, you might be right. People might just be buying them for a gift. But they still have a problem. Like, it's their best mate's birthday and they forgot and they need something gorgeous and thoughtful and handmade and they need it quick. This is their problem. The impact for them is that they can't find anything that they like and they either end up with something generic from Amazon or nothing at all and they get kicked out of the friendship circle completely or at least look bad for it. And they don't want that. They need a solution to their problem. Again, this is you. You offer next day delivery. You can get these out to them this afternoon and they'll get them before 1 p.m. tomorrow. Amazing. You've just sold a gift box of your wax melts. Okay, so we've done the problem, the impact, the solution. The fourth thing that you need to be able to communicate clearly to people is your proof. Where have you done this well before? And how can you prove to people that you can do this for them as well? Right, and this is where your testimonials come in, your customer reviews, your case studies, quotes from satisfied customers, Google reviews, maybe your Etsy star seller badge, anything which proves to that person who is now almost on the edge of buying your product that it's right for them. You now have to give them a push over the edge, right? Because people need a lot of convincing these days, trust me. So we've got the problem, the impact, the solution, the proof. Finally, the fifth thing that you need to be able to describe confidently and clearly to your potential customer is the benefit. What is the benefit to the customer or the client who is going to buy your product or service? So in Angela's case, it'll probably be that she saves her marriage, yeah, and her sanity, and her kids don't get shipped off into foster care. Again, maybe that's a bit extreme, but she's probably going to be more likely to feel less snappier, more patient, more relaxed, positive, and she'll probably going to realise the importance of taking some time for her. For that person buying the last minute gift for her best mate, that benefit is that she no longer has to trawl the internet for the perfect gift. She's just got back a few hours of her time and the peace of mind that she's not going to look like a total bitch who forgot her friend's 50th birthday. So you always have to make sure that you're conveying the benefit of what you're offering so people understand what they are getting from it and how it will ultimately improve their life or situation. Okay, so now you know the 5 things that are imperative to getting shit hot at knowing what you've got. Let's look at how and where you're going to implement this in the real world, in your business, day to day, so that you can stand out from every other one on there that isn't communicating these things clearly enough. If you've listened to me before, you'll know that I don't do wishy-washy, right? I'm very black and white. There's no grey going on whatsoever in my studio. So how do these 5 things that we've just talked about describe what you do for a job? How can you use that to tell people what it is that you do? I'll tell you how, okay? If you can write a sentence for each one of those 5 things, when you put them all together, it tells someone exactly what you do. I'll show you what I mean. I've done it for me. Okay, so someone in the pub, or more like the playground these days, don't remember the last time that I stepped into a pub alone, says, "Oh, hi, Joanne, how are you? I've been meaning to ask, what is it exactly that you do again?" Well, my initial response might be, "Why, you nosy cow? Are you trying to copy me? Are you trying to steal my ideas and my customers?" But then I realised that I can't actually say that. So I have to call on my 60-second pitch that I've prepared and I have to tell them exactly what they need to hear. Because I don't know if they're thinking of doing the same thing as me and they're fishing for information, or what if they're thinking of starting their own creative business and they want some help doing it? Yeah, so I've got to be ready to deliver. And here's my pitch, using the information that I've just got from writing something down for each of those 5 steps we talked about. Okay, you ready? So I'll go, "Oh, hi," insert name, nosy cow, or whatever you want. "Well, yeah, I help creative women who want to start their own business, but are not sure where to start. Maybe they don't have the confidence, the knowledge, or the time to get organised to do it." There's your problem. So they're feeling frustrated and they're feeling unfulfilled. That's the impact. So I provide affordable and friendly business support just to help them get their shit together. Okay, I don't say that. In the form of one-to-one sessions where I'll help them through whatever it is that they are stuck on. Solution. I've helped lots of women, which I'm really proud of. So you should just Google me and my reviews will come right up. Proof. It's just really lovely to see my clients running their own businesses and being able to do the things that they want to do, have the flexibility to work around school pickups and take time off for appointments, save up for lovely holidays, benefit, right? And then you could just finish it with like, "So why do you want to know, Jennifer? Why? What are you planning?" Maybe not. But there's my pitch, right? And when I timed it, it was like 45 seconds. It was perfect. So I want you to do the same. I want you to write a sentence for each of those 5 points that we just made, and that will be your pitch. So once you've got it, where else can you put it out there other than waiting for Jennifer in the playground to ask you what you do for a living? Like, how can you use it confidently to show your potential customers what you have got to offer them? Well, you need to use it all over your marketing. Like, you literally have got so much content from this pitch. You can pick bits of it out. You can make social media posts. You can put it on flyers. You can basically talk to people. Word of mouth. You can use it wherever you want. But you've got so much content there, trust me. As I said, you can create some social media posts from it. You can tell people how you are going to solve their problem. You can address their challenges. Ask the question and provide a solution. Do you need a last minute gift? I do next day delivery. You can honestly create so much social media material around these 5 things that we just talked about. And you should. And you should do it over and over again. Just like rinse and repeat it. Get it into people's minds so they know exactly what it is you offer and how you can help them. I'll give you some examples of some posts you could do just to help you out a little bit. You could include things like quotes from customers to show your proof. So I was on a training course the other day, and the guy hosting it, he suggested getting clients to record a 1-minute video testimonial, which I thought was a brilliant idea because people love to see real people, don't they? And if they're up for doing it, ask them. So get your customers, whoever's bought the product, maybe you can ask them to do like a selfie video holding your product up and saying, I've just received this from wherever. It's absolutely brilliant. Love it. Love the quality. Look at the style. This is where I'm going to put it. You know, they could be showing them putting the candle on the mantelpiece. Like under 60 seconds, ask them to do a video testimonial and put it on your social media pages. Like people will absolutely love it. So there's loads of people that'll be up for it as well. Don't be afraid to ask. You could do a carousel of text-based images saying what the benefits are of your product or your service to the customer. Like for me, it would be that they don't feel alone with their businesses anymore. You know, they've got more time, they've got more knowledge, all of that and more. For you, it might be that your product will bring them a sense of calm or peace. It might make their house smell really nice and not a wet dog anymore. Yeah. It might help their kids learn. It might reduce the stress of finding a last minute gift. Tell them how you can help in black and white. Another idea for a piece of social media content is posing a question around the impact. So that was the second step that we talked about. What would happen if they didn't buy your beautiful diffusers? Would they still have to deal with the smell of wet dog every time they walked into the porch? Yeah, probably. If they didn't try your new handmade soaps that could help them with their dry skin, would they still experience flare-ups and uncomfortable eczema-like symptoms? If they didn't taste your delicious plant-based chocolate, would their allergy-ridden kids ever know that there were alternatives out there for them to enjoy when their friends were tucking into their Easter eggs? Be open and honest about the impact of not having you in their life. Put it into text-based images. You know where you have like a one colour background and you just have a little bit of text on each slide? Because people skim read so much now, don't they? And they're much more likely to read it this way. So make the text big and bold and clear. Just use two colours and let them be able to read it in just a few swipes, because they're much more likely to read it this way than when you put it in the content of the post, which honestly I still do anyway. I still type out what I've written on the images into the content of the post, and I do that for more SEO purposes and for the algorithms to help pick up on what it is I'm talking about and show my posts to those sorts of people. So my advice is do both. Put your text in the images and put it in the content of your post as well. And integrate all those 5 things that make up your pitch into your website too, into the content of who you are and what you do, the information on your homepage to the information in your product descriptions. Get crystal clear on exactly what it is that you need to do, and then just repeat, repeat, repeat. So eventually, when someone comes up to you and asks you, oh, so what do you do for a living? You can tell them in under 60 seconds. So there you have it. Hopefully by now, you'll have a really, really good idea of the information that you need to know in order to communicate confidently and clearly to your customers your value proposition. That is what you are proposing to them and why it's valuable. If you want to share your 60-second business pitch with me, I am all ears. I'd love to hear it. You can send me an email or a direct message on Instagram. Tag me in your social posts. I will have a look at it, give you some feedback. I would love to see. Or even better, if you're in the Derbyshire area, you should come to our new speed networking event. It's going to be ace. Right? We have got so many treats in store for the people attending, because we know that being self-employed is knackering. And sometimes you just need a bit of love and appreciation. Yeah, and that's what we're here to do. So if you're interested in coming along, the event is going to be held in Chapel on the Frith, which is in the High Peak in Derbyshire. And it's also the hometown of Harry Styles from One Direction, in case anyone is hoping to bump into him. Can't promise it though. The most important thing to me is that you have got something useful out of today's episode that is going to help you when talking about your business. And remember, when you work for yourself, you are your biggest cheerleader. Like, you're your only cheerleader sometimes. And you have to know what you do inside out and how it can help your potential customer, just in order to give them the confidence to invest in you. Put it this way. You wouldn't let a surgeon within 10 feet of you who couldn't tell you the name of their instruments and what it is they're used for, would you? No chance. As always, please share this episode with one person who you think might enjoy it. Not only will you be helping them, but you are also massively helping me, because it's the only way to grow this podcast and keep it going. So anything you can do to help get the word out there about my podcast would be so much appreciated. Obviously, only if you like it. Don't tell people if you think it's shit. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, if you want to check out my services and how I can help you and your business, please do visit my website, herhandmadehustle.co.uk. Until next time.